Hello and welcome to the first broadcast of Rakish Games. Today we're going to be playing Killing Floor 2. So this is going to actually be my first stream, or I guess recording, which is an interesting decision on my part, I suppose, given the fact that I am sick today. So, please pardon the voice, it's going to be a little bit different from it might be typically. So, Killing Floor 2. Killing Floor 2 is basically a Call of Duty Zombies gameplay mode remake that turns Call of Duty Zombies into a full game. It's actually a pretty fantastic game. Uh, I've logged quite a few hours in it, mostly playing multiplayer with a couple of friends. So let's just go ahead and play a solo game. Sure, we'll do Burning Paris. Hard, long. We're not going to make any obvious jokes there. And we'll get started. So, there are a number of classes that you can choose with this game. The class that I'm going to be playing today is the Gunslinger, which is essentially the cowboy class. It also happens to be my favorite class within the game. Given that this is my first stream, not quite sure how much I'm going to be talking, or if I'm mostly just going to be shutting up and staring at the screen, but we'll see how it plays out. So I'm going to go ahead and change to Gunslinger, and I'm also going to change out to a different character. This is the Reverend Albert skin. I think he looks a bit more like a gunslinger than the gold-kitted Masterson that I've built out here that kind of looks like a gold-encrusted Jason ripoff. So the missions that I have for the day are to beat Zed Landing Suicidal. I'm not going to be doing that. That's insane, especially alone. Deal a bunch of damage with a 9mm pistol. That's the default pistol. We'll probably be doing that in the first couple of seconds. And kill sirens. We'll be doing that quite a bit too. So the siren is a specific type of zombie, or Zed as the game calls them. I'll point them out to you as we go along. And the 9mm pistol, as previously stated, is the starting weapon. I'm currently a level 22 gunslinger. So what do you get for being a gunslinger at level 22? And what is the loadout that I've chosen? Well, we can ignore movement speed penalty for iron sights and drastically reduce weapon bob. So essentially that means that when you look down the iron sights, you move just as fast as you do normally. Or you can choose to be better at shooting from the hip. I don't like shooting from the hip with pistols, so I don't use this. Consecutive headshots do more damage or increase more damage to arms, just overall, and inflict 30% more damage to arms and legs. I think that this is just better overall. Suffer no damage reduction from shooting through Zeds to hit other Zeds. I much prefer the reload speed. Headshots with perk weapons slow Zeds 30%. Not really interested in this as much as when you shoot the Zeds in the legs, it's just going to knock them down. And shooting them in the chest will stumble them. When it comes to these two, I'm not as picky. I can go pretty much either way. And in another 3 levels, which I'll hopefully be hitting soon, you get the Z time reward, which is essentially a reward that you get for getting consecutive headshots or doing really cool things, where the game will slow itself down and give you plenty of time to look around and shoot however you'd like. And this level 25 perk either makes sure that your weapons can't run out of ammo, or your perk weapons will shoot 3 times faster and reload in real time. So basically you're unaffected by the fact that you're supposed to be in slow-mo. So we're just going to go ahead and ready up and get started. As we start out, I'm going to head over to the default pistol, which is that mission that I had before that you saw on screen. And I'm just going to go around and shoot. This is that Z time I was talking about before.
Good start. Now finish the job.
The first couple of waves probably won't be much of a problem. Honestly, the real issue is going to be the boss wave, depending on the boss that we get. Watch, I'm not even going to get there, given the cockiness. Also, some of the middling waves, when you just can't, you have to make the decisions between either having ammo or having a level appropriate gun. That really sucks. So I'm going to be trying to use this default starter pistol as much as possible so that I can use my class starting weapon, which is slightly better. It's these, the dual 1868 revolvers, in the next round. And then hopefully in the round after that I'll be able to buy something really nice and shiny.
Finish the last ones off.
However, the nice thing is that so the nice thing is, since I'll be playing solo,
Glad to see you made it through.
you tend to make quite a bit of money, which in this game is called dash.
Survived without a scratch.
So
huh?
as you can see right down in the bottom right hand corner,
I approve.
I have 574 dash. This isn't really going to let me buy very much, but I'll kind of run over here and show you what we've got.
Come and get your
So these are all of the Gunslinger class weapons. You see, I can double up on these 9mm pistols and
enemies on the scope.
make them dual 9mm pistols. I already have dual 1858 revolvers. The Desert Eagles are really great. Honestly, the Magnums are really where we want to be, especially later on. And as far as class weapons go, these are pretty cheap. You know, especially being able to buy it piecemeal, buy one and then the next. And surprisingly, these Spitfires are hysterically good,
Time's up.
or at least
Go
a lot of
kiss
fun
the
to
set.
use. This area down here, this subway area, not really my favorite place to be.
But many Zeds remain.
Oh, and what you saw there was that I was grabbed by a zombie. These clots, I think they're called. They have that ridiculous grabbing ability. Some classes actually let you avoid it. But that's their special ability. And each of the different types of Zed has special ability or something else that goes into it. So these little spider guys, I can never really remember what they're called, but they're quite annoying. And the guys with the Attack on Titan get up that have the swords on their arms. I think that they're called Gore Fasts, and then there's an upgraded version called the Gore Fiend. And the Gore Fast is pretty easy to deal with, but the Gore Fiend is pretty horrible, especially at higher difficulties. And you might have seen it before, but there is a really big fat guy that likes to puke on you. He's called, I think it's a bloat. And it sounds like we've got a husk somewhere around too. husks are, for some reason, flamethrower wielding zombies. You see, that's a husk. Husks are really annoying, especially at higher level difficulties. Fortunately for us, we're not really playing at a very high level difficulty. We're just playing on hard, which, quite frankly, isn't that hard.
I could do with some ammo. See that? Down.
What I really want to do is shoot him in the backpack, because the backpack is actually his weak spot.
It's the
It'll
spot.
blow up. Unfortunately, I just didn't manage to catch it there. Also, you probably noticed that as I was trying to get through that door, I closed it in front of myself and then just ended up running the other way. That's fine. It's really not a big
Vault is
deal.
open again. Let's get you restocked.
Now, surprisingly, I was able to do both of
You
those
earned the
rounds
money.
entirely
Now spend
with
it.
my default starter pistol. I don't think that I'm going to continue doing that. Now, the real question that I have is, should I sell the 1858 revolvers, not even bother using them, and then just fill up my 500 Magnum revolver, or
All sets
should
on the
I
way.
actually use it
Start to
because I've
wrap
got so
things up,
much
as they
ammo
say.
built up in here? I think that I'm going to just go ahead and sell it, buy up. It's really not it's not very efficient. It's kind of a waste of resources, but honestly, we're not going to be strapped for cash too badly, and this will carry us through the end of the game. Especially later on, we're going to want to have backups. You know, for the boss, we're probably going to need
Back to
3
it,
sets of
vis-a-vis.
pistols that are all full, and we still might not have enough damage output to actually kill it, depending on the boss that we get. But in the meantime, I think that we should be okay as is. You know, that is a gore fiend. They're pretty nasty. Nice thing about the Gunslinger class, like I said before, is that their primary weapons are kind of ridiculously cheap. This is like an end of game weapon, and it only cost me 750 Dosh. Now, obviously, the actual end of game weapon that we would want to use, and that we are going to use, is the dual 500 magnums, but that just doubles the ammo capacity. It doesn't really change anything else about it. So the damage output here is pretty similar. It's just that we have to reload twice as much.
Excellent.
Ah,
That's nearly all of them.
also you'll probably recall that we were supposed to kill sirens. That was a siren, the thing that I just shot in the head. The annoying thing about them is that they scream and deal sonic damage, which you can't really avoid. By the way, I'm on fire, and that's because of the husk. Husks pretty much suck. And that
Just like basic training.
that invisible, whatever her name was, the commando class actually allows you
Glad to see you made it through.
to see them. It's not
Gear
a
up.
perk or anything like that. It's just automatically enabled.
You're staying in one piece. That's great.
It's pretty nice. But not necessary, especially since you can usually see the wavering, you know, light where they pass.
Glad you made it back. Don't bleed on anything.
And especially in this game, I find that the optimal strategy is to shoot anything that moves. So here's the other thing that you can spend a lot of money on, is your armor. It acts as a second health bar, but can't be healed. It's kind of self-evident. Especially later on, you're going to start getting more and more of these ammo drops. I'm actually going to pick this up because they tend to disappear after the new wave starts.
Break time's over. Get back to work. More Zeds inbound.
Like I said, especially once we get to the boss round, we're going to be looking for those a lot, because we're probably not going to have the damage output to take down a boss without refilling a couple of times with those.
We've got demons coming to play.
Start. Now finish the job. Allez.
Cleanse the soul and
Right, so what do I think of Killing Floor? First of all, I find that the game is really, really fun. It's just a blast.
the spot.
It's reasonably well balanced. I think that
Demons, rock and roll.
the higher difficulties are kind of ridiculous. I found that the community is okay, but once you get to certain parts of the community, especially people who are, you know, level 25 on everything and take this game a little too seriously, sometimes they'll kind of act like, well, they tend to make the experience somewhat negative. I've seen people try to kick one another out of games just because they don't hit a certain level or something like that.
Those banks ready. Zeds inbound.
Come see me. The pod's safely open.
That's more of a community
Nicely
thing, I
done.
think, than
Keep me going.
an
Get
actual
yourself fixed
problem
up.
with the game.
You look terrible.
I like the fact that the game rewards you for playing as much as it does. I don't like the microtransactions, but it's fine
Lovely.
because
Should have brought
it's
my
mostly
mop and
just
bucket.
skins, doesn't matter.
You earned the money. Now spend it.
They have very frequent events. So for Halloween, for example, they had an extra map that they introduced, along with a special, like a special event-only boss. They did the same for Christmas.
Time's almost up.
I've heard that they did the same for Easter with the original Killing Floor game, so here's hoping that they do that here as well.
More Zeds on the
But
scope.
honestly,
Back
the
to it, mes
community
amis.
is the only problem that I've had, and it's only really been with a couple of games where I really had that kind of negative experience. It's really quite, you know, it's more of an outlier. The game comes with a lot of maps to begin with. They don't have DLC to buy a bunch of extra maps, and a lot of the online rooms have custom maps. I really don't know where they come from, but there are like thousands and thousands of custom maps.
Watch it, there's a close one.
So that's not really a problem.
Dented their numbers, but there are plenty left.
What I found is that certain classes really need to level up in order to be effective. That's true of basically all of the classes, but it's especially true of certain classes. For example, I found that the I found that the Firebug is a lot more, or should I say, a lot less effective without power-ups than, say,
Nearly cleared this batch out. Nice work.
the Gunslinger.
We can reopen the trader pod soon.
Here's the spot.
But that's really just, you know, I don't think that's a major issue. Right. So, what is that big thing over there?
Beast is about.
That
Claw.
is what's called a scrake. Scrakes are one of two types. Well, I suppose there are four types now, but
Just like the lads in the
essentially
Falklands.
two types of
Great.
big Zeds. These are much harder to kill than your average Zed. They're kind of like mini-bosses, and they start to appear around wave 4 or 5, depending on your difficulty, and they get continually more and more prominent as the game goes on. Like I said, the first type is the Scrake, the second is the Flesh Pound, the third is the Quarter Pound. The Quarter Pound is essentially just Flesh Pound, but whenever a Flesh Pound would be spawned and they spawn Quarter Pounds instead, they spawn like 4 of them. Honestly, the Quarter Pounds are a lot easier to deal with than the Flesh Pound, so I prefer that. Interesting thing about the Scrake, once you deal sufficient damage, and on hard, sufficient is pretty much any, it will just start running after you and actually attack. But before then, it's pretty docile.
That was the last one. Get to the indicated pod for resupply.
Also, if you light it on fire, it freaks out immediately, which is kind of funny to watch. Nice thing is that when it freaks out,
Shadows, darkness,
It-
what's not to love?
doesn't track to the nearest player, it'll just go towards anything. So it might start hitting,
We're almost out of time. Make your choices.
allies. It'll just hit anything that makes noise, so. Unfortunately, I was hoping to purchase a second Magnum, but doesn't look like that's going to happen this time around. So I'm just going to hope that I have enough money
Last
after
chance. I have to power
the
down
end
the pod.
of this round to actually go up to the dual Magnums. I really would prefer at this point in the game to have dual
Break time's
Magnums,
over.
just because
Get back to work.
the
All
amount of
Zeds
damage
inbound.
output that I'm going to have per clip is going to be so much more limited as it is. Here's an ammo box. I'm going to come back for that later on. Sounds like I've got some invisible ones somewhere around.
Wouldn't give for a cleaners convention. Right about now. Watch it, there's a cloaked one around.
Yeah, cloaked ones.
Beast is about.
See, and that's why you like to have the second gun. So you don't have to reload in the middle of that bullshit.
A decent beginning. Let's call that your warm-up.
Okay, so that sound definitely makes it sound like we have either a Scrake or a Fleshbound. I believe that was the Scrake noise. I guess we'll find out when something nasty comes up. Yep, that's the Scrake.
Ages passing. It's the spot.
That, however, is a Fleshpound. No, that was Quarter Pounds. Okay. So, I'm glad that I didn't piss the Scrake off and get stuck battling all of those at once. I think that my strategy here is just going to be to kite these guys.
Done. I can reopen the treasure vault.
That'll keep me going. man still has it.
Really hate those cloaked ones sometimes.
It's the spot. Watch out! Fire!
Hey, I killed all the sirens I need to. Right, so now I have to kill this Rake.
Come see me. The pod's safely open. Nicely done. There's one flesh pound that will not be coming back, thanks to you.
So, I finally got up to my dual magnums. That's really nice. I filled everything back up. And now I'm mostly going to be saving up for my endgame loadout, which is going to be dual Desert Eagles, dual Magnums, and dual Spitfires. I really like the Spitfires, maybe that's silly. But I'm going to go ahead and buy up one of those Spitfires now. I find that the Spitfires actually hold up surprisingly well.
Who needs a weapon?
I'm about to shut the pod.
Late in the game.
Glad you
I mean,
made
I
it
definitely
back.
don't think
Don't
that
believe
they're
anything.
great weapons, but
Lovely.
they're kind of fun, and they allow you to do this. Well, I guess that's not a very good example. That's a flesh pound. So the difference between the quarter pound and the flesh pound is that the flesh pound is going to take a lot more punishment before it goes down. Okay, I guess I might have overstated that a little bit, but I swear, in higher difficulties, it's really, really obnoxiously tanky. It also depends on the number of players, so I've mostly been playing in rooms that actually have people in them, so I'm sure that it helps that I'm on my own and everything has adjusted HP so that I can actually deal with it. Nice, relaxing game. Blood spattering the streets. Doom and gloom. You know. Yep, so there's the Scrake. Definitely don't want to engage that if I don't have to. Not quite sure why he turned around, but I'm kind of glad that he did. Oh, also, so I haven't actually been using this, but you can close these doors and lock them, and that's a nice little touch.
Took some hits there. Patch yourself up.
Would love a wee bit more light.
Oh, and you've also got this flashlight. I don't tend to use it very much. I picked up a Winchester. Not really going to use it, so I mean it's a glass weapon, but it's just not my favorite thing to use. So I'm going to pick up the Desert Eagle. I'm going to fill up that.
Last chance.
Uh,
I have to power down the pod.
so Desert Eagle has 7 bullets,
Pod
which is a
closed.
little bit more than
Could make a
the Magnum.
difference.
It has a lot of staying power. Honestly, the Desert Eagle is almost as good as the Magnum. But the Magnum just has a little bit more oomph to it, you know? Right, so why am I choosing to use this, other than to demonstrate it? Mostly it's ammo boxes.
Dented their numbers, but there are plenty left.
Ammo boxes fill all of your ammo for all of your weapons. So if you happen to have a weapon that is full on ammo, it doesn't help you at all. Whereas if you have all of your weapons used a little bit, then you get maximal benefit out of it. So there's a little lesson for you. That's why it's always a good idea to cycle through your weapons and use a little bit of each.
Never get used to this.
That, and it's just kind of fun. That doesn't sound good. Pretty sure that was a flesh pound.
We've got freedom coming to play.
Finish the last ones off, so I can open the trader pod.
This thing will be dead in one flesh pound.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, that's not good.
This'll put you down.
Perfect. Pod is open again. Let's get you restocked.
That'll keep me going.
You're a little bloody, but you'll live. Bring up the trading controls and upgrade your gear.
So, I got to fill everything up. And I am just shy
All
of
Zed's on the
getting
way.
my dual.
Start to wrap things up. As they
You know, I
say.
should have bought the dual. Shouldn't have bought these. I should have gotten. Well, whatever. Now I get to actually demonstrate why I like using the Spitfires. On this map, they aren't as crazy
I'm
good,
about to shut the pod.
but on the prison,
Convention. Right about
there's
now.
one spot where you can stand. You need to have a team for this, but you can stand and just
Break
rain
time's
down
over.
fire
Get back to work.
in front of you,
All Zed's inbound.
and it will just. Oh. That's at the. That's. Now? Right now. What?
Looking stout, but many Zeds remain.
Take down a rider. Nice. What's this? Well, something, eh? It's the spot.
So, ladies and gents, let this be a lesson to you.
Down. Welcome to Armageddon. I'd better be
Fix
These guns are just so satisfying. I mean, look at that. You don't have to aim, you don't have to worry, everything just kind of melts. It's a very pleasant experience.
Come see me. The pod's safely open. Nicely done. You earned the money. Now spend it.
Alright, so remember how at the beginning of the game I said that we really wouldn't have to worry all that much about things like money, especially later on? This is why. So we're at wave 9 of 10, just about to be hitting the 10th wave, and this is the kit that I like. If this was a multiplayer game, I would pick up this, which is a healing gun, which allows for heals from afar. It's really not necessary. I guess I might as well, just because it'll give me a couple extra bullets to fling at things if worst comes to worst, but honestly, if I end up using that ever, then I have really big problems.
Hurry up. Zeds are getting closer.
Lovely. Should have brought them up in bucket.
Pod's closed. Go
One
make a
thing that I would
difference.
really love in this game is if there was a way to skip the wait screen. So just kind of
Monster nearby.
tell it, hey, I'm ready, you can send the next wave. Yes, please, thank you.
A decent beginning. Let's call that your warm-up.
So I've heard that some people don't like the way that these guns aim. In particular, the dual pistols, I've heard, are kind of difficult for some people to aim iron sights down when you're in this mode, and it's almost impossible in this mode. I guess that's one... I don't know. That's never been a problem for me, so... This just kind of, you know, this feels kind of natural. It's not great, it's not the best, I guess, but whatever. Ow. Okay, so that's the first time that's happened in this game. Those big guys, the bloats,
Nice work.
they do that to
We
you.
can reopen the trader codes.
Yeah, these are flesh bombs. That's less than ideal. Right, so, bloats, when they puke on you, it eats away your armor or something fierce. So, it kind of sucks. But the sirens basically get to just eat away your HP, and that's from a distance too, so it's been a number of times where I have just gotten completely killed by an unexpected
I'm impressed by
siren
your survival
screaming.
instinct out there.
You know, that can always be a little bit frustrating. Right, so we're just about to hit the boss wave. We've got plenty of money, and honestly, very little to spend it on. Right, so why am I switching to
More Zeds on the
knife?
way.
Because
things up, as they
you get
say.
to run just a little bit faster. I'm just going to autofill everything, and I want to wall a couple of these things off, because
Sealing the door.
even though it's not going to keep anything out,
I'm about to shut the pod.
This one's sealed.
there will be a noise or something from the appropriate direction, especially if it's the Patriarch. Patriarch goes invisible,
Time's
so
up.
if he
Go
tries to
kiss
get
the
through
Zeds.
a door or something like that, he'll break through it. Ah, right. So this is the Patriarch. Uh, Annoying thing about the Patriarch is he's a little bitch, and he runs away if you get his HP too low. He turns invisible and he runs away, and this ends up healing him quite a bit. Yeah, he's got a minigun. It's kind of unfortunate.
Bastard, please.
Gotta kite him.
See that? You will fall down. I will follow the trail. Time for more spectacle.
Yeah, he screams. This isn't fair. Yada yada yada. Did he say he's gonna cancel my subscriptions? That's very rude. Ow. Oh, ow. That sucks. He has a grenade launcher, and his minigun is pretty horrible, but on this difficulty, it's not insta-death. In some difficulties, it is literally insta-death.
Where is the blood?
Right, so unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to let him heal up and do his thing. I know that he's somewhere around here. Don't really know where. Kind of sucks. Pretty sure he's back there. Ah, there he is. Nice thing is that he only heals himself, I think, 3 times. I think he might have one more heal.
Come into play.
Did he run away again? Pretty sure he's literally right there. Ow.
One by one, I will feast on your agony.
So this is the unfortunate part where things start getting hard, because I don't have any HP. Right, I should have switched my pistols right there. Killed him with the others, but honestly it doesn't matter all that much.
Need a charity. If anyone needs it. Need a bit of cash. Money. Looking
Right.
for a good.
So that ended up going pretty well for us. Obviously I got all of the team awards because I did everything. Didn't level anything up. Alright, so I think I'm going to call it there. Thank you for watching and getting through this, and congratulations to us. We've just beaten Killing Floor 2 on hard in Burning Paris. Thanks for watching.